How trauma, flow, and altered states break time. If you've ever experienced a traumatic event and later said, it felt like everything was happening in slow motion, or if you've ever gotten so deep into a creative activity that hours vanished without you noticing, then you've already experienced how radically flexible time is. These aren't metaphors. These are perceptual shifts that reflect real neurological changes. In extreme states of emotion or attention, like trauma, crisis, or flow, your brain builds time differently. The usual systems that stitch together your timeline go offline, speed up, or loop. Let's explore the two most extreme distortions of time perception, trauma and flow, and what they reveal about how the brain constructs your timeline. Let me tell you a personal story. In 2017, I was on the field in Las Vegas during the Route 91 concert as 2,000+ bullets rained down on us suddenly out of nowhere. Yes, I was standing there singing and dancing alone, and suddenly I became a human shooting target. If you are a longtime supporter of my brand and work, you have likely heard me talk about this evening many times because it was the day that changed my entire life. I was never the same again, and that was the moment that I decided to take a hard left turn with my life, give up what once mattered to me, to chase my dream of becoming an author. But what you likely haven't heard me talk about is how I experienced time that night. When the shooting started, time didn't stop, but it also didn't feel like time. What do I mean by this? Everything was happening so fast, yet everything was happening so slow. It was like I was in a vacuum of warp speed, like a character in a video game running for their life, except I was running for my life. It felt like the sounds, flashes, and people were speeding by me like energetic lightning bursts, beyond fast, yet I was ultra-aware, and every second felt like 10 minutes. Every time the shooter started shooting, the crowd would duck and hide, and every time the shooter reloaded and ceased fire, the crowd would get up and run. In these moments of crowding, others would speak to me, and it sounded like their voices were in slow motion. Yet we only had mere seconds together to regroup, only time for a word or two to come out before we had to run again. This was also the evening I experienced my life flash before my eyes. I was still on that field. I was even running. Yet a movie started playing in my mind's eye of my vision board, and everything on it I never accomplished. I was sure I was going to die. I was watching everyone in front of me get shot and fall to the ground. So how was I fully present enough to run, make smart decisions, and navigate a true war zone, all while watching a movie in my mind's eye of the life I thought I would never see? Dual cognition at once. I never had anyone explain to me that time and perception are not what we are told. I experienced it firsthand, and then went and did the research, because I did not have words for what I experienced. But I knew exactly what I lived through. Time was malleable, the speed of it, and how many realities, past, present, and future, I was able to experience at one time, a true overlap of time. As always, and anytime I speak of that evening, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge all those who did not make it off that field that night. I send them prayers they rest in peace, and may God bless their families for their loss. Trauma. When time freezes, fractures, or loops. Trauma is not just psychological pain. In neuroscience, trauma is defined as an experience that overwhelms the brain's ability to process and integrate reality in real time. When you're in a traumatic moment, your brain is forced into survival mode. The sympathetic nervous system takes over, fight, flight, freeze, and your perception of time becomes unstable. This happens for a few key reasons. 1. The amygdala hijack. Everything slows down. The amygdala, your brain's fear and threat detector, activates intensely during trauma. It floods your system with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, preparing your body for survival. This hyper-alert state amplifies sensory input. Your brain starts encoding more data per second. That flood of extra frames creates the perception that time has slowed down. You might notice colors, faces, sounds, or motion in surreal detail. That's because the brain has turned on high-speed memory capture. It's trying to gather every possible piece of data in case you need to survive this moment again. This is not your imagination. It's a real increase in neural activity around threat, attention, and encoding. 2. Fragmented encoding. Time gets broken into pieces. At the same time, trauma can interrupt the normal sequencing of time. The hippocampus, which organizes your memories into chronological order, can shut down under extreme stress. When this happens, your brain stores raw data, but without proper timestamps. The result? Fragmented memory, flashbacks, blackouts, re-experiencing. You might not remember what happened before or after the moment. You may have gaps in your timeline or find yourself stuck in an endless replay of a single moment. This is why people with PTSD often describe their trauma as if it's happening in the present, because in terms of brain wiring, it still is. The memory was never correctly integrated. It's sitting outside the timeline, unresolved. Trauma doesn't just hurt your emotions, it breaks your timeline. 3. Repetition and looping. The stuck experience. Because the brain prioritizes survival, it tries to keep the thread alive in your awareness, so you don't miss it next time. This creates mental loops where you keep replaying the same event, image, or phrase over and over. Time becomes circular. This can happen years after the original event. The trauma doesn't need a calendar, it just needs a trigger. The brain senses similarity to the original danger, and suddenly, you're there again. Clock time says the event is over, but brain time? Still playing. Flow. When time disappears. Entirely on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have flow states, those moments of complete immersion where time seems to dissolve. You're not watching the clock. You're not thinking about yourself. You're just doing. Flow is studied extensively in positive psychology, particularly by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who defined it as the state in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. The experience is so enjoyable that people will do it even at great cost, for the sheer sake of doing it. Flow occurs when challenge meets skill. You're fully engaged, neither bored nor anxious, but optimally stretched. 1. The prefrontal cortex goes offline. The key shift in flow states is transient hypofrontality, a temporary reduction in activity in the prefrontal cortex, particularly in areas responsible for time tracking, self-monitoring, and narrative thought. This means you lose your sense of time. You stop thinking about yourself. You forget to check the clock. Hours pass like minutes. It's not just a feeling, it's a measurable shutdown of time awareness centers in the brain. Deep engagement creates time. Amnesia. Because your attention is so locked into the moment, your brain stops evaluating duration. There's no meta-awareness saying, it's been 30 minutes. You are purely embedded in the task. You're not observing time, you're inhabiting it. This is why flow states feel both fast and timeless. You don't perceive time passing while in the flow, but when you emerge, you're shocked by how much time has gone by. 3. Memory of flow. The paradox. Here's what's fascinating. Even though flow states feel timeless in the moment, they tend to produce rich, vivid memories. Because you were fully present and engaged, your brain did encode high-quality data. So afterward, you look back on those hours and say, wow, that was full, that was valuable, that was long, even if you didn't feel the passage of time during the experience. Altered states, drugs, sleep, near death, and psychedelics. Other extreme states also cause radical distortions in time perception. Psychedelics like LSD, psilocybin, and DMT can completely detach time from its linear sequence. Users report time stretching infinitely, or collapsing into one eternal moment. Neuroscientists suggest this is due to changes in default mode network activity and disintegration of ordinary sensory filtering. Near-death experiences often include time stopping or expanding. Some people report reliving their entire lives in seconds. This is thought to be the brain's last-ditch effort to make sense of total overwhelm. Sleep distorts time massively. A dream that feels like an hour may occur in under 10 minutes of real clock time. The brain simulates reality using stored memory, emotion, and prediction, not clock ticking. Substances like stimulants, caffeine, amphetamines, can speed up perceived time, while depressants, alcohol, benzodiazepines, can slow it down or create memory blackouts, where time simply disappears from your record. Time is built, and it can break. So what does all this prove? Time is not an independent force flowing past you. It is a construction, built moment by moment, with materials like memory, emotion, attention, and engagement. And under extreme conditions, trauma, flow, drugs, sleep, overwhelm, that construction can fail, collapse, freeze, loop, or dissolve. You don't just experience time, you author it. And sometimes you misfile the chapters or skip pages entirely. These distortions show us that clock time is not the master, it's a tool. And brain time is not fiction, it's the real timeline you live in. Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and this is the Manifestation series, where we don't just talk about manifesting, we master it. Because let's be honest, manifestation has been watered down, reduced to vague quotes, mood boards, and empty promises. But you didn't come here to wish. You came here to build a reality that hits different. A reality that responds to your frequency, your language, your alignment, and your decision to stop playing small. This series is not fluff. It's physics, frequency, and fierce creative power. Inside the Manifestation series, you're going to learn how to collapse timelines, shift identities, and speak worlds into existence, just like the greatest minds in history. This isn't just about being positive. This is about being powerful. Here's what you unlock inside. Vision to Reality, the Vision Board course. You've heard about vision boards, but you've never done them like this. This is a full energetic ritual, a precision-coded map for your subconscious, designed to bridge image, frequency, and strategy. It's not arts and crafts, it's blueprinting your future in visual form and turning it into matter. Time, quantum timelines, and why time isn't real. Manifestation doesn't take time, it takes alignment. In this module, I'll show you how time is just a mirror of energy and how to collapse timelines using choice, clarity, and vibration. Past, present, future, they're happening now. And when you know how to navigate time quantum style, you stop waiting and start receiving. Quantum jumping, instantly up level. Your next level life isn't years away. It's one decision away. In this training, you'll learn how to quantum jump, how to shift into a version of you that already has what you desire. This isn't fantasy. It's how high-performance creators, athletes, and spiritual masters leap beyond limits. Jump now. Land in power. Every word. The power of affirmations and spoken language. Words build worlds. In this course, I show you how to use affirmations like spell work, not just repeating empty mantras, but speaking with vibration, intention, and spiritual force. If you've ever felt like affirmations don't work, this will change everything. You'll learn to command your field, not just request from it. The greats, learning from the most exceptional minds in history. We're not the first to master this. In this legendary module, we decode the techniques, habits, and quantum genius of the world's most powerful manifestors, from ancient sages to modern icons. You'll learn how to think like the greats, move like the greats, and manifest like the greats. This isn't another feel-good series. This is a spiritual weapon, disguised as a manifestation course. It's made for leaders, cycle breakers, visionaries, and soul builders. You don't need another wish list. You need a system that teaches you how to bend reality. This is that system. So if you're ready to stop playing with potential and start creating results, welcome to your next level. The Manifestation series is open now. You know what to do. Let's build what they said was impossible and make it inevitable.